The culture of Silicon Valley can be fascinating for the outsiders. Antonio Garcia Martinez knows it very well. He left Wall Street and sold his own startup to Twitter before joining Facebook's advertising team. He later got fired, and he provides an unfiltered account of his time in Silicon Valley in his new book. It's called Chaos Monkeys. He writes about Facebook's stop-at-nothing lifestyle, saying the culture is what kept 23-year-old kids who were making $500,000 a year in a city where there was lots of fun on offer if you had the cash. Tethered to a corporate campus for 14-hour days, ate 3 meals a day there, sometimes slept there and did nothing but write code, review code, or comment on new features in internal Facebook groups. Former Facebook employee Antonio Garcia Martinez joins us now to discuss. Hello, Mr. Garcia.
Yeah, hello.
So you really took us behind the scenes in this book.
Yes, I did. I lifted off the veil.
And you showed warts and all. What did you want us to know?
I guess I wanted you to see the reality of what Silicon Valley actually is. It's often painted as this sort of very meritocratic sifting of the best and the brightest, and often there's as much chance as there is, actual skill or drive in it.
Yeah, you said anybody who thinks that it's about merits is dead wrong, because what it's really based on is...
It's a lot of connections, happenstance, sheer luck, fate, etc.
When you met whom?
Sorry?
When you met whom?
Well...
No, I'm saying part of it, the luck is when you met whom.
And who you know.
Yes, exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Why did you call the book Chaos Monkeys?
So Chaos Monkeys, picture a wild monkey running through a computer data center, punching boxes, pulling on cables. There's actually a piece of software that actually tests, built by Netflix actually, to test the back end of a lot of the services that you use. As a metaphor, what I mean is that Silicon Valley is like the chaos monkeys of society. The entrepreneurs run around and they pull the plug on things like taxi medallions via Uber or hotels via Airbnb. And basically, we as a society see if we survive their depredations effectively.
Now, we reached out to Facebook for comment on the book, and they declined to comment. Your top dedication is to my enemies. I could not have done it without you. Having said that, what's interesting is you describe Mark Zuckerberg, one of the richest men in the world, Facebook having unlimited potential because of the number of people that are connected to it. You describe him as somehow between Napoleon and Fidel Castro. What do you mean by that?
Is that a compliment?
I think it is. I hope he takes it as one. What I was really drawing a parallel between, there's a scene in the book, it was February 1st of 2012 when Facebook announced that it was going public, and he put us in a big tent in the parking lot of what was then the unfinished campus, and he gave us a rousing speech. And it reminded me, my parents are Cuban political exiles that fled Cuba in the late 50s. And I was imagining what my cousins probably went through in Cuba as well. And I know it seems like a weird comparison, Facebook with communism, but at their extremes, capitalism, communism sort of meet. And this sort of personality cult, we had slogans on the walls, we were all wearing a uniform. It all felt very North Korean or Cuban almost. And so in that moment, I just realized that the sort of motive force of history, which is one egomaniac sort of twitchy drive, and then the common man's desire to be part of a compelling story, which is what we were. We were just bit players in Zuckerberg's story, is really what brings both of those systems of production together. And so
what's bad about that? What's bad about the way that about Zuckerberg?
No, it isn't. I mean, look, in communism they wait in line for bread, and in capitalism we wait in line for iPhones, right? I mean, but the point is we're waiting in lines. But yeah, no, there's nothing necessarily wrong with it at all, actually.
But you were talking about, you were so candid, I thought, Antonio, about even your own faults. At one point, you were making a deal with Twitter and Facebook at the same time. You had partners at the time.
Yeah.
And you decide you're not going to tell your partners the whole truth about what's going on.
That's right.
Because you're working on 2 deals. And in the end, you decide to do what?
So here's what happens, and this is very common in lots of acquisition scenarios. A company comes in and says, hey, we like this company, we like person A and B, we don't care about technology, and we don't care about person C. Here's a lump of money. Just figure it out. We don't care who gets what. This is what we're willing to pay for this set of people. And then you talk to a different company and they say, oh, we want the lot for this amount. And that's exactly what happened to me. I went to Facebook for whatever reason. They wanted me and not the rest of the company. Twitter wanted everybody. And so I had to work out this sort of twin deal, and that's one of the
yeah, and you end up going to Facebook and leaving your guys.
Is there a difference in the culture for Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon?
I like to think so. I can only really speak to cultures at Twitter and Facebook because those are the only 2 companies that I've worked at. But yeah, there's definitely a difference in culture there, a very, very strong one, I think. Actually.
How would you describe it?
I describe Facebook as a sort of Roman Empire that's with a strong cultural message and a strong emperor in power trying to conquer the world. Twitter, it's hard to describe. It seems, well, as we've seen with its stock price, it's a little bit more chaotic and a little bit more impromptu, I think, than Facebook
I was surprised by the way you describe women in the Bay Area. You said they're soft, weak, naive, and generally full of expletive. Silicon Valley has a reputation for being dominated by single young men. So are you perpetuating that stereotype? Are you trying to dispel it?
What I tried to portray in Chaos Monkeys is the truth of Silicon Valley, obviously, without any judgment whatsoever. And in that statement, I was contrasting it to the character called British Trader, who is the mother of my children, who very much was not that, actually, which is what I liked about her. You know, like Gail said, I portrayed Silicon Valley, warts and all, and that is part of Silicon Valley, for better or worse.
I'm surprised you can write this book since you worked at Facebook and you were fired. Are you worried that people think, look, he's a disgruntled employee, and don't you have to sign non-disclosure so you can't write about this kind of thing?
So there's nothing actually confidential, strictly speaking, in the book in terms of you know, business revenue models or anything. It's really mostly just the politics and the people. In terms of the disgruntled thing, as I think I made clear in the book, the product I shipped was actually a success at the time, more successful than other ads products, in fact, and that it really came down to politics. I mean, why I think Chaos Monkeys is a worthwhile book is it captures that point in Facebook's history, and when it went from scrappy startup where I could brew beer on campus and blow up the plumbing, which I did and flooded
You
Zuck's
did,
desk,
yes.
to one where middle managers were fighting it out for fiefdoms and somebody loses and it becomes a Game of Thrones.
And what are you
that's-
doing now?
Right now, I'm working on my sailboat and hoping to sail across the Pacific later this year.
Okay. And you've got 2 children.
And I have 3 children. in
3
fact.
children now. Okay. All right, Antonio Garcia Martinez. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Chaos Monkey goes on sale today.